Welcome, everybody, to Intensity Broadcasting. My name's Josh Hall. This is the Doghouse Racing League Tuesday night Xfinity Series here on iRacing as we get ready for a great race here from the Brickyard. That's right, we're here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway getting ready for race number 3 of the season. Looking forward to this one. This is going to be a great one for sure. I love Indianapolis. It's one of my favorite racetracks to go to and watch a race and race on iRacing. So it's going to be a great one for sure. At the top of the leaderboard, no surprise, we've got Jonathan Jennings. Mike Leftwich, though, sitting back in second. Mike Hayes, Jason Miz, and Lucas Edwards, your top 5 on the speed charts. Let's take a look at those points coming into tonight. We see Jonathan Jennings up at the top of the leaderboard with about a 20-point lead over second place, Michael Hayes. See Christopher Leftwich, Chad Waller, and Steve Gerber, your top 5. So Michael Hayes right there nipping on the heels of Jonathan Jennings. And then you have Steve Gerber, Justin McMahon, Jonathan Smith making up 12 spots last race, up into the 7th spot. Richard Leclerc, Chuck Cobb, and Andrew Lucas, your top 10. And actually, Chuck Cobb and Andrew Lucas are tied for that 9th spot. So you can see where your favorite driver is on the speed charts, or excuse me, in the point standings. As we have the checkered flag out right now in practice. And we're getting ready for qualifying. Again, I apologize for a little bit of a late start. Had a little technical issue getting the stream up and running. I had the wrong information in on the streaming, but StreamKeeper, we got up. We're here. We are ready for this race. 42 laps here tonight. Of course, right now, we've got to get qualifying underway. And first driver out onto the racetrack is the 9 of Steve Bonomo. You got about 5 minutes to get your laps done here. Of course, you see that access road. The drivers have to leave pit road on this access road and enter the racetrack on the backstretch. Whether it's qualifying or race, that's going to make things pretty interesting, especially if we have green flag pit stops. So watch for that to come into play tonight. Also out of the racetrack, we've got Bill Gentry in that 4 machine coming down into turn number 3. Mike Samia out there as well. Drake's Garage has come on Kevin, number 33, and that is who is sponsoring tonight's race. This is the Drake's Garage 105. Of course, you can check them out as well. Please check out Drake's Garage on YouTube or Instagram. Drake's Garage does customizations, welding, auto repair, building projects, custom fabrication, mini trucks, and much, much more. So you can check that out over at youtube.com/Drake's Garage. As we see the 3 of Mike Samia making his way through turns 3 and 4. Sorry, that was through turns, that was 3 and 4, because there's the front stretch. Coming to take the white flag on his qualifying lap. Currently, Jonathan Jennings, your fastest car here in qualifying so far. See Jennings coming down the long front stretch towards the start-finish line. And Jennings is going to jump up or stay up in that top spot. Jason Miz, currently your 3rd fastest, coming off of turn number 3, down into turn number 4. Looks like he might have caught the wall just a little bit right there. coming down to the stripe. And Miz's second lap is not going to count because he did make some contact with the wall. Justin McMahon just jumped up into the third position. As right now, McMahon coming down the backstretch towards turn number 3. And Indianapolis is a unique racetrack. Long straightaways, very flat corners, 4 unique corners. Even though they look like they're very symmetrical, it is very unique. So you'll see these drivers slip sliding around all race long. Is going to be a great testament to these drivers where they can find themselves here tonight at the end of this one. As we see McMahon now down on the apron. It looks like just one more driver left to qualify. We're going to have time for qualifying. That is Lucas Edwards, who's down on that access road. Looks like time is going to run out for Lucas Edwards here, as he's going to make his way down to pit road. So we do want to thank everybody for joining us, whether you're watching on Facebook, over on YouTube, or Twitch. We do appreciate you joining us here tonight. Don't forget that the Doghouse Racing League's Tuesday Night Racing Series is sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's is open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Stop by one of their West Virginia locations, try their freshly prepared legendary breakfast bar, and take home a whole strawberry pie. Shoney's delicious food and friendly service since 1947. Also, the Doghouse Racing League has a partnership with Fanatics. Doghouse Racing is an affiliate partner of Fanatics. They earn commissions when they purchase through the link below. They use the commissions to help fund the league. So we want to thank Fanatics for joining us here tonight. And you can check that out down at the link below. Let's take a look at our starting grid here tonight. And starting on pole is the 91 of Jonathan Jennings with Chris Leftwich to his outside in position number 2. Justin McMahon and Jason Miz make up row number 2 with Kevin Brown in the 33 and Mike Hayes rounding out row number 3. John Smith rolls off from the 7th position after making up 12 spots in the points last week, looking to increase that point total here tonight. And Mark Dumont back in the 8th spot. Jeffrey Engel and Bill Gentry round out your top 10. Stephen Bonomo, he'll roll off from the 11th spot with Michael Samia back in the 12th position. '13th is Jim Willis with Barker Knapp back in the 14th spot. 15th is Daniel Wilkerson with Gary Amio back in 16th. 17th, Andrew Lucas with Michael Dow back in the 18th position. 19, Eddie Rivers, Richard Leclerc rolls off from the 20th position. Then 21st is Jason Palmer, Lucas Edwards back in 22nd. And rounding out the rest of the field is Gary Mado back in 23rd and Mike Leftwich back in the 24th position. So while the cars circulate the racetrack and get ready to go green flag racing, we want to also thank our other great partners here. Of course, Drake's Garage sponsoring the race here tonight. This is the Drake's Garage 110. Check them out on YouTube. Of course, also Shoney's, Group 6, Simpson Design Shop, and Fanatics. Of course, we also want to shout out our great partners here tonight, including our first partner here, Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker is a well-known and established leader in gaming haptics. The award-winning line of Butt Kicker products lets users feel low-frequency sounds. Their products are used and endorsed around the world by leading PC and console gamers, including professional sim racers. Check out the full line of Butt Kicker products, figure out which one's right for you, or find out which movie theaters in your area have Butt Kickers as well. You can check them out at thebuttkicker.com. Of course, you can also check out our great partners over at Race EPI. For all your iRacing coaching and setup needs, visit raceapi.com. Also, check out our website, Intensity Apparel and Broadcasting. That's right, we've got an apparel shop over there right now. If you're a real-world racer looking for some quick apparel or some apparel, there are no minimums to buy. Check it out at intensityracing.com. Of course, Doghouse has their apparel shop as well. You can check out all your news, standings, points, and more over at thedoghouseleague.com as the field makes their way down the front stretch here towards the green flag. Green flag is in the air. We are racing. Jonathan Jennings immediately to the gas and heads his way down towards turn 1, trying to clear the 13 of Chris Leftwich before they go side by side through turns 1 and 2. And this is going to be the hairiest part of the race right now. Cold tires. That outside lane has little grip, and we're seeing that right now as Chris Leftwich sliding around on that high side just a bit as Jennings works his way off the corner. They're going to be side by side, door to door as they come down the backstretch. It looks like Chris Leftwich is going to sneak ahead of that 91 machine as they make their way down towards turn 3 for the first time. Jennings right there on the back bumper. Justin McMahon not too far behind, and we see Jason Miz trying to stay in tow as well. The 22 of Mike Hayes as the field starts to get single file as they come off of turn number 4 and down the long straightaway where Jonathan Jennings is going to try to use every bit of side draft here to pull that 13 car backwards as they go side by side into turn number 1. Leftwich, though, holding strong up on that high side as they come through the short chute between 1 and 2. Making their way down towards the backstretch. Again, you might see a little bit of serpentine here as the drivers stay in line right up against the wall. Sometimes you'll see them swerve down to the inside trying to break the draft as the draft is so strong on these long straightaways down towards turn number 3. Another thing to keep in mind is where the start-finish line is. It's not directly in the center of the front stretch. Now we see that serpentine, that little snake down the front stretch starting to happen as Leftwich is trying to do everything he can to try to keep that 91 behind him. But that start-finish line is actually a little past halfway down the front stretch, so makes it a little bit more interesting as it gives you a little bit of a drag race down to the stripe. As you see Jason Miz starting to try to make some moves here. Trying to get right on the back bumper of Justin McMahon. Leftwich way out of line, trying to tempt Jonathan Jennings to follow him down there. But so far, it's been all Chris Leftwich since dropping the green flag, holding Jonathan Jennings at bay. And as the tires start to wear off on these machines, we'll start to see them slip and slide a little bit more. You see them dripping their tires down below that white line as they go through the corners. That's where the grip is and where the speed is. However, you see that little bit of a rumple strip down there like you see on a road course. If you get your tires down there too low, it's real flat. It can really upset the car. And we've seen drivers self-spin off those rumple strips before. A little further back, we got a battle back here between Mike Samia and Steven Bonomo. Samia's going to take that spot away, and now here comes the 202 of Jim Willis. Just trying to make a move there. And these drivers here in the back of the pack, they're going to have some of the best draft, the best pull, trying to get themselves forward. You see a side-by-side battle here between Michael Dow and Lucas Edwards. And Edwards is going to take over that 19th position. So Andrew Lucas starting to pull back up to the 202 of Jim Willis. I see if he can make a move here and move forward. One of our biggest movers, though, is this 77 of Andrew Lucas, up 3 spots. Jason Palmer also up 3 spots, as well as Lucas Edwards, our 3 biggest movers. One driver who's making some moves here is Jonathan Jennings, trying to do everything he can to find a way around that 13 of Chris Leftwich as they continue to run nose to tail our top 5 cars. Then they're pulling away from the 6th place car of John Smith. He's got Kevin Brown right behind him. Then the 114 of Mark Dumont back here as well. And don't count out Justin McMahon. He's right there on that back bumper, trying to make something happen. Right on the back bumper of Jonathan Jennings as we take a look off the back bumper of Jonathan Jennings at that 24 of McMahon. Get our top 5 under a blanket as they come down into turn number 1. A bit of a battle starting back here between Kevin Brown and Mark Dumont. Jeffrey Engel in this mix here as well. You see Arthur Lucas catching the 202 of Jim Willis, trying to make a move here down the backstretch and into turn number 3. Side-by-side battle for the lead now as Jonathan Jennings is pulled out from behind Chris Leftwich, and they're going to battle side-by-side through turns 1 and 2. Justin McMahon with a front row seat for this battle. McMahon right there watching as these two go door to door, battle side by side as we work lap number 8, 35 laps to go. As I mentioned earlier, the tricky thing here for these drivers will be the pit stops. Oh, one car spinning in the back there. That is the 4. Caution is out. Hard contact with the wall for the 4 of Bill Gentry. We saw the parts fly in there. It's going to bring up our first wreckage rewind tonight. Ooh, looks like one car bounced off the wall. That was the 14. Came off the wall, and man, Gentry's had nowhere to go. Hits that inside wall hard. You see the hood fly back across the racetrack. Fortunately, didn't hit anybody. Ooh, one other car looked like it was involved there. I'm not sure who that was. No, that was the 14 who made the initial contact. That was Engel here. Let's take another look at it here. Yeah, Engel makes contact with the 4 Gentry, who hits that inside wall a ton. And Engel just tries to keep it off the wall, catches the inside wall hard. It looks like both those drivers' nights will be done here, as the entire field is now making their way down pit road, led by the 91 of Jonathan Jennings. Ooh, Kevin Brown having some issues getting into his pit stall. He was just sideways for a second. That's going to cost him a ton of time. And he had to back up, so he wasn't even near his pit stall there. As we see Jonathan Jennings, the first driver to make his way off of pit road. Chris Leftwich comes off second. Mike Hayes back in third. John Smith in fourth. Jason Miz make up your top five. Trouble here, it looks like, for the 24 of Justin McMahon, who's going to fall all the way back to the 19th position. Not really sure what happened to McMahon here. See if we can look back here and see what happened. Still a long stop for McMahon, it looks like. Yeah, 22-second stop for McMahon. Did he, oh, look, he overslid his pit, couldn't get it back into reverse. That's what cost a ton of spots for McMahon, who was running back in third, now finds himself back in the 19th position. So lights on, the pace car off. We got one lap to go before we go back green flag racing. Jonathan Jennings going to take the outside lane this time after Chris Leftwich beat him on that outside lane on the initial start. Also, don't forget to check out our great race sponsor, Drake's Garage, on YouTube. Drake's Garage specializes in customization, welding, auto repair, building projects, custom fabrication, mini trucks, and more. So give them some love. Check them out over at Drake's_Garage on YouTube. Give them a like, follow, and a subscribe. I'm sure he'd really appreciate it over there. You can also find him on Instagram at Drake's_Garage. So again, give him some love over there. As the field makes their way off of turn number 4, here comes the pace car down on the pit road. And Jonathan Jennings is going to lead him back down to the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. We are back racing, and a great jump for Jonathan Jennings this time as they go down into turns 1 and 2. Saw a couple of cars bouncing off the wall back here. It looked like maybe it's Gary Mio bouncing off the wall. Looks like they've all straightened that out as Justin McMahon tuck it in behind Kevin Brown. Two drivers lost a ton of time on that pit stop, trying to make their way back up towards the front. Kevin Brown looking down to the inside of Baker Knapp, trying to take over that 18th position. Here comes McMahon trying to do the same thing. They both will. Now McMahon's going to look up to the high side of Kevin Brown as they make their way down into turn number 1. Meanwhile, another battle heating up here as we see Jason Palmer looking down to the inside of Gary Mio. Ooh, a little bit of contact there between Palmer and Amio. Both drivers able to keep moving forward. I see Stephen Bonomo right behind these two, watching this battle go on. Some tight racing here as we work lap number 13. See, almost a little bit of like a super speedway, a couple of different lines forming up here, using a little bit of drafting help as Bonomo stays down on that low side. He's got Gary Maydew right behind. Daniel Wilkerson in tow. Ooh, a little contact there between the 77 of Lucas and Wilkerson. Got the 76 a little out of shape. Ooh, is the 60 of Mike Leftwich bounces off the wall right there in front of McMahon and Kevin Brown. We've got some 3 wide racing down into the corner. Wisely back out of it, make it 2x2. Now we're back to 3 wide as they come through the short chute and onto the front stretch. Steven Bonomo making out there, moving up into the 9th position. Meanwhile, we've got a gaggle of cars back here, including Justin McMahon, Kevin Brown, Gary Amio, who's on a bit of a backward slide right now, as McMahon looking down to the inside. McMahon way down on those rumple strips, trying to use that to help the car turn. Kevin Brown's going to follow right through as well. Meanwhile, back up front, Chris Leftwich has a mirror full of Mike Hayes. He's trying to do everything he can to get around the Leftwich machine. Meanwhile, Daniel Wilkerson taking a look down to the inside of Bonomo. Move Wilkerson up into the top 10. Ooh, big wiggle. I think that was Andrew Lucas right behind Wilkerson as Justin McMahon using the high side trying to push Bonomo by. So this battle is raging on back here between Bonomo, Wilkerson, Justin McMahon, Andrew Lucas, Kevin Brown trying to make his way into this mix here as well. As Wilkerson and Andrew Lucas go side by side, Lucas is going to use the high side to get around the 78. And Kevin Brown trying to move by the 78 of Wilkerson as well. Meanwhile, Justin McMahon tearing through the field here, already up into the 11th spot. Meanwhile, up front, Chris Leftwich and Mike Hayes continue to battle. Hayes takes a look down to the inside, not quite close enough to make that move happen. He's going to have to tuck back in line. Try to use this draft again to his advantage. Ooh, one car bouncing off the wall. That was the 770 of Jason Miz. Making a little contact with the outside wall. It's going to allow Michael Samia to move up into the 5th spot. As McMahon moves his way around Bonomo. He's going to pull Andrew Lucas right through as well. And Kevin Brown not able to dice through traffic quite as well as McMahon has. As McMahon has now cracked into the top 10 after restarting back in the 19th position. A little further back, we see Daniel Wilkerson battling down to the inside of Bonomo. You see Kevin Brown right back there as well, trying to follow Wilkerson through past the Bonomo machine. Meanwhile, back up front, we see Chris Leftwich and Mike Hayes continuing this nose-to-tail battle as Jonathan Jennings just pulling away from these two as they continue to duke it out. Kevin Brown now moving around as we got a big gaggle of cars back here. The 60 of Mike Leftwich, 117 of Richard Leclerc, Baker Knapp in this mix, Eddie Rivers, Gary Amio, Lucas Edwards was able to drive through it, but man, they were just scattering all around. Looks like a hornet's nest back here. Everybody gets back single file. Now the real question is going to be fuel. Do these drivers have enough fuel to make it to the end? We know they were just last on pit road on lap 9. With a 42 lap event, I imagine these drivers are going to have to come down pit road one more time. We see Mike Hayes taking a look down to the inside of Chris Leftwich here, trying to take over that second spot. And Chris Leftwich will surrender that position. Tuck back in line and try to save his tires a little bit to make a run there at the end. Baker Knapp looking down to the inside of Mike Leftwich. Leftwich, though, able to use a high lane to stay out in front of the 96. I got a little break in the action here. Why don't we do a little bit of what I like to call pump up the intensity. Great sights and sounds here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We have 19 laps to go. Jonathan Jennings still out in front. He is your leader by a great margin over second place, John Smith. We'll find Chris Leftwich back in third, Mike Hayes in fourth, and Michael Samia back in the fifth spot. Battle heating up here between Daniel Wilkerson. Just lost position to Jim Willis, and here comes the 76 of Lucas Edwards, trying to make a move down to the inside of Wilkerson. Well, another battle starting to heat up here as we see the one of Jason Palmer trying to make a move on the 114 of Mark Dumont. Although Palmer not able to find any grip here to make his way around that 114. Although when you see Dumont get really loose there off the corner, that's going to break his momentum and give Palmer an opportunity to take a run here down the backstretch. And here he goes down to the inside, side by side. This is a battle for the 6th position. Palmer going to have the advantage going into the corner on the low side. See if he can outbreak Dumont into the corner, which he will. So move Jason Palmer up into the 6th position. And we got our first taker down onto pit road, and that is Mike Hayes, confirming my thoughts earlier that we would not be able to make it all the way to the end of this run. A few drivers coming down. We see Jim Willis on pit road, Mike Leftwich coming down, Gary Armillo on the pit road. It is a very difficult pit road to get onto because when you come off of turn number 4, it's quite a bit of ways before you make your way on the pit road. So you'll see these drivers accelerate a little bit before diving down to pit road, and pit road timing starts about 300, 400 feet past the entrance of that wall there. You see those yellow cones there on the right side of the screen. That is where the timing starts, as we have Chris Leftwich making his way down onto pit road. Jason Miz, Gary Maydew, Andrew Lucas on pit road. Oh, Lucas got in there a little hot, gets into the back of Gary Maydew. Maydew just turned around there, but he's off the racing surface enough where it doesn't draw a caution. Tough break for Maydew and Lucas. A lot of damage to the Lucas machine as well. You can see I was able to get a new front clip on there. Now these drivers do not have resets, so any damage that they get, they have to get fixed on pit road. But these drivers are all going to go a lap down, as we see Jonathan Jennings now making his way into turn number 1. And when they leave pit road, they have to make sure to stay down on that access road here, as we see Justin McMahon, Kevin Brown, Baker Knapp, all coming down onto pit road. See who is going to make their way down onto pit road this time. See if Jonathan Jennings comes in or if he stays out just a little bit longer. Looks like Jennings is going to make his way down onto pit road. John Smith down on pit road as well. Michael Samia is going to come down pit road. John Smith also down on pit road. Going to give the lead of the race to the number 1 machine of Jason Palmer. Mark Dumont sits back in second. So it looks like just these 2 cars, the one of Jason Palmer and the Mark Dumont machine, the only 2 drivers left to make their way down onto pit road. And as I say that, Palmer down onto pit road, that's going to leave Mark Dumont out there all by himself. Somebody else dived down on the pit road. That's Andrew Lucas coming down pit road. Looks like he's going to get a little bit more damage fixed up on that machine because, again, he took a hard lick there, as you see Bonomo taking a look down underneath the 114 of Dumont. And when it cycles back around, Jonathan Jennings is going to be back in the lead. Chris Leftwich about 5 seconds behind as he battles with Mike Hayes here. Now Mike Hayes up into what is going to be the second position when Dumont pits. But these two 5 seconds behind the 91 of Jonathan Jennings, as here comes Leftwich fighting back on the high side. So they go door to door through turns 3 and 4. A bit of a wiggle there out of Leftwich there. That's going to allow Mike Hayes to get the run here off the corner, it looks like, although Leftwich holding tight there up on that high side. And how about you see Justin McMahon back in the 7th spot, trying to run down these leaders here with just 12 laps to go. These two continue to run door to door. And this is the battle for the runner-up spot, although while they're running door to door, Jonathan Smith is starting to creep into the picture. Last time by, he was about 0.3 of a second quicker than these two running side by side. Leftwich, though, back in front of Mike Hayes. And Jonathan Smith still running some laps, trying to run down as Dumont now down on pit road, giving the lead back to the 91 of Jonathan Jennings. He's working with some lap traffic. He's got the 14 of Jeffrey Engel to worry about here as they come down the back stretch and towards turn number 3. Further back, you see Dumont having to use that access road, gets passed by Eddie Rivers. Jason Miz trying to run down. I'm sorry, that's Justin McMahon trying to run down Jason Miz. He's caught him. He's going to take a look down to the inside as they go towards turn number 1. Now Justin McMahon up into the top 5. A lot of room to run down the 99 of John Smith, who is now caught your top 2. I'm sorry, your second and third place drivers. Trying to get himself onto the podium here tonight. As John Smith is now there, right on the back bumper of Mike Hayes. At the same time, they're quickly approaching the lap car of Jeffrey Engel. Will the Engel machine be a factor here as Chris Leftwich is going to be the first to try to dispatch him here as they go through turn number 4. Engel looks like he's going to dive down to the bottom of the racetrack, let the leaders right on by. You see McMahon back there trying to catch up to this group here. Is Engel now going to force the 22 of Hayes and John Smith up to the high side? That's a big break for Chris Leftwich, is now able to pull away from Mike Hayes and John Smith. Well, further back, we see a battle back here between Steve Bonomo and Baker Knapp. Knapp down to the inside, trying to take that position away. Knapp not able to get him clear, though. We see Mike Leftwich and Jim Willis battling here. This is a battle for the 11th position. Leftwich has 11th. Willis wants that position, as we are quickly approaching 6 laps to go. Lindsay Single says, great job, everyone. Go Jeffrey Engel. Jeffrey, unfortunately, back in the 23rd position after being caught up in our only yellow here tonight. As John Smith has run down Chris Leftwich yet again. After the lap traffic actually helped Leftwich get away a little bit, now John Smith right back there on the back bumper. And Smith going to take that position away. We see Leftwich kind of washed up the track a little bit. He kind of burnt off that right front tire. You can see that because he is not able to hold the car down on the white line like everybody else is. Although Leftwich puts a big block down as they go into turn number 1. John Smith trying to use every inch of that racetrack down on the low side to get that car to turn down underneath the 13 of Leftwich. Almost some contact there through the corner. Almost some contact off the corner as they're side by side still. And now John Smith is going to move up into that second position. Here comes Mike Hayes to attack the 13 of Chris Leftwich. As we come across the stripe this time, Jonathan Jennings takes 5 laps to go. You see just how big of a lead that Jennings has, as he is nowhere in the picture, over 10 seconds over second place John Smith. Here comes Hayes down to the inside of Leftwich. Takes that position away. Leftwich trying to cross over here and fire back through the short chute towards turn number 2. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. As Leftwich starting to fall back. Now John Smith pulling away from these two. But still just under 10 seconds behind Jonathan Jennings. But running about 5/10 of almost a half a second quicker than Jonathan Jennings right now. Is Jennings in lap traffic? No, he is all by himself out there. As he comes across the stripe, we might be able to see John Smith, yep, just coming off of turn number 4. So about a straightaway separates our first and second place drivers. And what John Smith would really love to see right now is a caution to see if he can get himself back up to Jonathan Jennings, although looks like John Smith does have quite a bit of long run speed, as Jonathan Jennings now starting to turn the afterburners back on, as last time by he was about 0.2 quicker than the 99 of John Smith. Couple battles here on the track. We see Mike Dow and Gary Amio trying to work around this lap car. That's the 117 of Richard Leclerc. So these three, not lap car, excuse me, these three all battling for position. Also, we've got Mike Leftwich and Jim Willis battling it out. This is a battle for the 11th spot. But right now, it's all about the 91 of Jonathan Jennings coming down the backstretch. When it comes across the line this time, we'll have just 2 laps to go. Don't forget to join us after this one as the SCSRA starts their season with the SCSRA Intensity Broadcasting and Apparel Truck Series, kicking off with their clash at Daytona tonight. So if you like super speedway racing, don't forget to check that one out. But right now, Jonathan Jennings coming across the stripe to 2 laps to go. Well, battle back here is Jason Palmer trying to work around the 770 of Jason Miz. And Palmer is going to take over that 6th spot. Meanwhile, Justin McMahon right there on the back bumper of Chris Leftwich. Try to move himself up into 4th to have a shot at the 22 for the final spot of the podium. McMahon down to the inside. Can he outbrake the 13 of Leftwich down into turn number 3? He will. McMahon's able to slide up into the 4th spot. Does he have enough time to catch Michael Hayes as the white flag is in the air for Jonathan Jennings? 1 lap to go. As Jennings comes off of turn number 2 for the final time down the backstretch. Down towards turns 3 and 4. And through turn 4 for the final time as Jonathan Jennings in dominating fashion is going to win here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There is the checkered flag for Jonathan Jennings. John Smith, he's going to bring it home in 2nd. The battle for 3rd, though, Mike Hayes and Jess McMahon. Does McMahon have anything for this final podium spot as they come down to the stripe? And Mike Hayes is just going to barely hold on to that spot. But your winner tonight, the 91 of Jonathan Jennings, as he makes his way around the racetrack on his cool down lap to get to the front stretch to celebrate his victory here tonight. And right down to the yard of bricks where he's going to burn it down. Mike Leftwich comes in and gives a little celebratory bump there. As we take a look at the final results here tonight from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And getting the win here tonight is the 91 of Jonathan Jennings. John Smith comes home 2nd. Mike Hayes back in the 3rd position. Justin McMahon and Jason Palmer round out your top 5. 6th was Mike Samia with Jason Miz back in 7th. Lucas Edwards back in 8th. Kevin Brown and Mike Leftwich round out your top 10. 11th was Jim Willis. Baker Knapp back in 12th. Mark Dumont in 13th, Stephen Bonomo and Eddie Rivers round out your top 15 here tonight. 16th was Michael Dow, Gary Romeo back in 17th. 18th was Richard Leclerc, Chris Leftwich back in 19th. Daniel Wilkerson and Jeffrey Engel back in 21st. Andrew Lucas back in 22nd. Gary Maydew 23rd. Bill Gentry back in 24th. That rounds out the field, and not sure what happened to Chris Leftwich here. Now, I didn't realize he was racing here. Looks like he's got damage before this, and I don't know if he was just trying to push too hard and lost a tire here. You can see that front end damage already. Because he was running right there. Yeah, coming to the white flag here. Something happened to that 13 machine because, oh, he caught the wall there off of turn number 2, and that damaged the suspension. And that's why he fell all the way to the back here. And that explains a whole lot. But let's talk to our top 3 here, starting with our 3rd place finisher, Mike Hayes. Mike, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me? Man, a great job here coming home on the final podium spot here tonight. Man, just great strategy getting yourself back up there. Seemed like a battle of attrition for some of the people having some issues on pit road. What was going through your mind seeing all those drivers coming down pit road at the same time under yellow, and how are you able to get off pit road so quickly on that green flag stop to get yourself a chance?
Yeah, the yellow flag stop was, I don't know what all the issues were about, but no, I just rolled into my stop and rolled out, and I went from like, I don't know what I was, like P5 to P3. So that was a good boost ahead, and then that final green flag run, man, that was rough. And then coming down to that green flag stop, I gave myself some damage right before that green flag stop. I hit the wall pretty hard, and I think that's what kept me from being able to get up to full speed there on that last run to the checkered. But yeah, man, that track was rough out there today for sure.
And we saw John Smith having the head of speed there at the end, but you had a great battle there with the 13 of Chris Leftwich. Did that kind of burn your stuff off there? Did you guys run side by side and racing each other as hard as you were there towards the end?
Yeah, I was trying to save it the best as I could. I knew I had front end, right front damage. And then when, I don't know who it was, Jonathan Smith, the second place car, Leftwich hit the wall just like I did coming out of 2. So I knew he was going to be struggling after that. So I thought it was time to pounce to get P3. And then I seen Justin McMahon coming from the field. So just try my best to keep it up there with a damaged car.
Well, did a great job holding off McMahon there at the end and getting yourself here on the podium here tonight, Mike. So great job with that. Before we let you go, Mike, anyone you want to thank, any shout-outs you got to give here tonight?
Yeah, shout out to the team, Ghost Motorsports. Shout out to Doghouse for running these races. And as always, shout out to you guys for broadcasting it.
Do appreciate that. And again, congrats on the podium here tonight. Great job here, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, thank you, sir. Have a good night.
You as well. That was your 3rd place finisher, Mike Hayes. Let's bring in your 2nd place finisher here tonight, Jonathan Smith. John, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Man, head of steam out of nowhere there at the end. We saw you run down the top 2 drivers there. Didn't have anything for Jonathan Jennings unless the caution came out, I know. But, man, you were able to save and have that long run speed. I know because you had that long run speed, were you kind of hoping for a caution there, or were you happy, content coming home second tonight?
Oh, no. I was hoping for green flag the entire time. That Jennings guy is pretty fast. So I kind of found out pretty early on that we weren't going to get first place and we were going to settle for second. So it's just kind of saving, sitting back, seeing if I could get through Leftwich and Hayes back there. That was kind of the whole thing, just hoping to stay green the whole time.
Yeah, you definitely had the long run speed out there. There was an instance there where the lap traffic was playing a factor as well. Did that have anything to do with any burning of tires up or anything there? Because I know he kind of forced you guys all to go high around him on the high side.
Yeah, there was some points in there that the lap traffic kind of slowed us down, but I think it also kind of slowed down the people in front of me as well. So it kind of panned out to be a neutral thing for me, at least.
Well, the biggest mover of the last couple of weeks. Last week, you gained 12 spots in the points, I should say. Tonight with another podium here, another good points night for you. So you got to be happy with that. But before we let you go, anyone you want to thank, any shots you got to give here tonight?
Oh yeah, definitely. Shout out to you for doing the broadcast. It's a fantastic broadcast. Love what you do. Shout out to Daniel and all the admins for the league that run it and keep up with all the stuff for us and everything like that. Shout out to my wife. We just found out that we're going to be having a baby girl here in July, so just big news for us coming up. My race team, Nat Daddy Racing, and my sponsor, Engine 4 Coffee Company, for helping me out, put me on here. So
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations on the podium. Congratulations on the little girl. That's exciting news. And
yes, sir.
good luck the rest of the season. Hopefully we continue to see you up here and talk to you again soon.
All right, I appreciate it, man.
Have a great night.
You too.
So that was your second place finisher, Jonathan Smith. Let's bring in your winner here tonight, Jonathan Jennings. Jonathan, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Man, great run for you here tonight. Dominated the late portion of the race. I know Chris Leftwich got out in front early and was giving you a little run for your money early. That concerned you, thinking that you might have some competition, a little bit of extra speed out there tonight for some of these drivers, or did you know that the long run speed was going to be what you needed here at the end?
I've raced Chris at Andy. He's good at the track, so I figured he would give me a run for my money. But I was trying to stay tired too, so, and race as hard as I could at the same time.
Yeah, the track seemed to be really racy. Normally, Indianapolis is either one of two ways. It's either really grippy and racy or really, really slick. It looked like it was the early today. Pretty racy and pretty grippy. Did that kind of change the way that you ran the race, especially at the beginning there, trying to race with Leftwich there?
Yeah, it's hard to pass on the inside here, and I know he wasn't going to give me the outside, so trying to get the car to turn, get my left side as low as I could, and there was some grip down there.
Yeah, we saw that grip down there on the apron or down on that rumple strip, really helping these drivers make their way through the corner. But again, congratulations on the win here tonight, Jonathan. Great job again with the pit stop, with the long run speed. I mean, it's just been a great season for you so far. I know we're going to be moving on to, I thought I had the schedule here. Well, I lied. I forgot where we're going to next.
I can't remember neither.
I'm looking up right now, but while I'm looking that up, who you got to thank? Who you got to shout out here tonight?
You guys for the broadcast, the admins and Daniel for putting this stuff together, and everybody that practices with me. That helps a ton.
Absolutely.
And the lead sponsors, I almost forgot, but Shoney's, Brute Fix, Simpson Design Shop, and Fanatic.
And next week, you guys move over to Atlanta. How you like your chances at Atlanta now that it's a bit of a super speedway?
That's the new one.
It doesn't say if it's the new one or the old one. It just says Atlanta Speedway Oval. So
Yeah, if it don't say 2008, I think it's the new one. So
yeah, it says first race July 1st, 2022. So yep, you guys are running the new one.
Yep. Yeah. I'm not super speedway style guy, so we'll see. I've done fairly good at New Atlanta, so it'll be a fun one.
Yeah, New Atlanta's always been putting on some good races here on iRacing, so looking forward to that one again, Jonathan. Congratulations on the win once again, and good luck to you next week, Atlanta. Hopefully, we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, thank you. I forgot Drake's Garage too. I forgot they sponsor some of this
sponsor
stuff.
Drake's Garage. Yeah, check him out over on YouTube and Instagram, Drake's_Garage. But again, Jonathan, thank you very much, and again, congrats on the win, and hopefully, we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, thank you.
Have a great night. Well, that's going to do it for us here tonight on the Doghouse Racing League Tuesday Night Racing Series, brought to you by Shoney's. Of course, Tuesday Night Series is proud to be sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Check out one of their West Virginia locations and try their freshly prepared legendary breakfast bar, or take home a whole strawberry pie. Shoney's, delicious food and friendly service since 1947. Of course, I also want to thank the other great partners here in the Doghouse Racing League, including Group 6, Simpson Design Shops, Fanatics, of course, our race sponsor here tonight, Drake's Garage. Again, check them out on YouTube and Instagram at Drake's_Garage. Of course, our great partners. Check out our apparel store at Intensity Apparel and Broadcasting over at IntensityRacing.com. You can check out for all your iRacing coaching and setup needs. Check out RaceEPI.com. Of course, don't forget to check out our great partner over at The Butt Kicker. For all your game haptic needs, check out thebuttkicker.com. And that's going to do it for us here tonight. Next week, we'll be taking on Atlanta Motor Speedway here in the Xfinity Series. That's going to be a great one. We don't want you to miss it. Tune in right here, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. We do appreciate you joining us. And hit that like button, follow, and subscribe. And as our boy Atlee, Atman Weiss would say, over and out.